All right, so here I have the iOS project created previously already for the nonprofit organization Neon Law Foundation. So I won't get too much into the UI setup since there's a lot, especially this is built in UI kit. But I will show you a preview of the views before we get into implementing the URL requests to our WebAuthn server, which will be mainly done in our account manager, which I have right here. But I'll create a new one, a new file called WebAuthn account manager, since uh, we're just gonna recreate it just for this tutorial purposes. But as you can see here, these are the sign-in view controller, create account view controller, main view controller, and the logo view controller. And just to show you that in person on the physical iOS device, I had it plug into QuickTime to record. So let's see, pull that up real quick. QuickTime player. Okay. Hopefully this pulls up. All right, there you go. So here it's a view of my physical device. Click on the app. All right, so as you can see, username field, password field, and we have, if these are filled in, the button will light up for us. We have a create account field where you can fill this up, and this is for the traditional username and password um, registration that I created as well, but that won't be included in the tutorial. So this is the most important one. We just need a username and a password list, registration. So this would be the WebAuthn registration when the user signs up. And if you click on sign in with passkeys, this is where our passkeys will show up once a user registers it, and it's stored in their device. So next time when they log in, you can click on the sign in with passkeys button right here. All right, but other than that, we can get started with our class, our WebAuthn Account Manager class. Okay, so first we'll create a a file. So models, pretty much do something similar to this, but we'll create a new one for tutorial purposes. So new file, call this one WebAuthn, or actually WebAuthn Account Manager. All right. Okay, so let's get started with importing our libraries. So we'll need to import foundation, import authentication services, and this is the API from Apple that we need to generate our passkeys and decode the objects from our server. And we have import OS for logging in our debugger, import Alamo Fire for our networking, and just makes it cleaner. All right, so next we'll add our variables for our server's API endpoints outside the class. For the domain, make sure to have the backslash at the end of the URL. So we'll do private let domain equals backslash for now, and then we'll add our domain later. Okay, and then next we'll add our create user endpoint, and then this will be a HTTPS. And then we can just add our domain right there, and then it's going to be a sign up. All right, and then next one will be our sign in user endpoint API. Or I'll just actually I just forgot to just add API endpoint right here. Okay, so this is similar. Let's just copy and paste, make our life a little easier. But instead of sign up, it'll be authenticate. Okay. All right, and then the next one, register, begin, API endpoint. Okay, and this one should be make credential. Okay. Next one's gonna be our sign out API endpoint. This is sign out. Okay. And then lastly, this should be delete credential API endpoint. And I believe it's just delete credential. Okay. All right, so that's all our API endpoints variables. Okay, so next we need to declare and add a few notification names in our NS notification class so that we can use them later to notify our view controllers when a user has been successfully or failed their sign-in using the WebAuthn. So we'll add an extension to our NS notification dot name. Okay, make it static variables. So we'll do, actually, I had this all saved over here previously. It's too much to type out, so I'll just copy and paste it just for sake. Okay, there might be some errors since we had them previously on this side. Maybe I should just comment all this out. All right, in the meantime, okay. And then after that, we'll start by, creating our class for our WebAuthn account manager. So we'll do class, just copy the name. And for our WebAuthn class, we will conform it to NS object, AS authorization, controller presentation providing, AS authorization, controller delegate. All right. Okay, and just a note, if you need to know a little bit more about these delegates and why we're implementing all these, just to show you a reference of what documentation, this is going to be from Apple's developers website or documentation's website for Passkeys, and it'll tell you all about the delegates and the protocols needed for implementing Passkeys and WebAuthn, and there's even a video right here which provides a better explanation of the implementation. But yeah, just to give you a reference right here. Okay, so yeah, just to continue next on our protocol or our class. Sorry about that. Okay, so after that, once we added the protocols, this will ask us to add the protocol stubs for our AS authorization controller presentation context providing. So just add that, and then this will come out, right? So this will ask for our AS presentation anchor. So pretty much what this does is to it'll determine what view controller is currently used to provide the UI for our key. So it's kind of like a modal view that pops up, but it needs to know what is the current presentation UI window or our view controller that is being used. But so because of that, we need this delegate in this function right here. So right here, it's asked to return an AS presentation anchor. So we have to create a variable for that first. So we'll do, believe just private var. Call this anchor. Type AS presentation anchor. I believe we just returned the anchor like that. Let's see. Maybe not. Let's see. Just return anchor. Okay. Says no initializers. Okay, let's go back here and double check what we're missing. Okay, so this is an optional. Okay, makes sense. All right, so let's go back, make this optional, and then force unwrap it. All right, perfect. There we go. All right. So that is our presentation anchor. And then there are also two functions that we need to add for our AS authorization controller delegate. And that will be the following right here. So did complete with authorization and did complete with error. Okay, so these are important, right? So let's start with the did complete with authorization. So this function is called when a user authorization succeeds, such as generating a passkey or a passkey is used to sign in. So this is called and will be created when we will use the instance to send our server uh, for registration or send like information to our server for registration and authentication. This is where we will handle everything. And then in this part, it's if if there it was an error when the user is generating the passkey or signing in, and this will be a good place where some of these notifications that we have up here, where we can use that to present an error pop up for in our sign in or create view controller to our user. And yeah, so we'll fill these out later. But in the meantime, the last thing we'll do is add an extension to our WebAuthn account manager. And just to separate our logic a little bit and make it cleaner, we'll add our WebAuthn functions down here instead. And once we add our functions, we can later implement them in here. But other than that, yeah, this is just to keep it cleaner a little bit. And yeah, and that's it for setting up our WebAuthn account manager. So we can continue with adding our WebAuthn functions and passkey generation functions in this part on the extension on the next video. All right.